There's one inevitable thing about life. It's going to have challenges. These challenges will lie on a spectrum. So sometimes they're challenges that maybe we feel are manageable. Other times they're challenges that feel completely beyond us in so many ways. So there's really two paramount things that we have to carry with us when facing challenges, regardless of what degree. There's hope and there's choice. That's really what we have. So we're going to get down into the psychologically supportive spirituality mentality behind facing challenges with hope and choice. Let's get into it. As I mentioned, challenge is just an inevitable part of life, unfortunately. Really unfortunate, but it's true. Like, we're going to have to deal with trial on so many levels throughout our lifetime. Now, we really only have true choice in how we respond to these difficulties. And where this becomes an issue is because if we are facing a challenge that is causing trauma, let's look on the, far side of the spectrum. If there's trauma being inflicted, our brain is wired to move into a mode of protection, and ultimately there's this shift in focus on pain. Pain has been shown to dramatically impact our decision-making capabilities. And so rather than us driving the circumstance and making choices within the circumstance, if there's pain involved, whether it's emotional, mental, or physical, our brain's capability to make clear, conscious decisions begins to decrease. It's really important to be aware of this because this is when our mind can start to tell us things that aren't true, and ultimately undermine hope, right? So if you're in a trial that's so bad and your mind is telling yourself, I won't ever be able to get out of this is terrible, I'm in so much pain, this is so uncomfortable, I feel rejected, I feel hurt, right? If we get into these loops, unfortunately, we are steeping in a lot of the challenge that is causing the negative emotion in the first place. And so we have to be able to step outside of that. We will never be able to heal ourselves or feel opportunity through challenges if we are steeping in the challenge. We literally have to be able to keep our eyes focused on something greater and farther out from us, which is the practice of hope, right? It's knowing that this can change. It's knowing that an opportunity could come up. It's knowing that this won't last forever. It's knowing that I can figure out a solution even if it feels so far from me right now. And this is all considered to be self-efficacy, our ability to find a solution amidst trial, even if it's not obvious in that moment. Self-efficacy is huge. Now, the ideas we tell ourselves when we're in a state of self-efficacy is what curates hope. That there's something, not only can I get out of this, but this could turn into something amazing. Whoa, that is an incredible mindset of hope, ultimately, right there, right? And it can take a lot to get to that perspective, but it's so worthwhile. And this is really the true choice we have in life, is how we respond to things. We can do very little about the circumstances that are inflicted on us or happen to us. Of course, we should be avoiding unnecessary pain. Yes, we make decisions that aren't in the alignment of our best interests and sometimes cause self-inflicted pain simply through cause and effect to our actions, right? And this is, again, where choice really matters. So, hope and choice, two huge things when dealing with challenge. Main highlight with hope is you got to set your sight on something greater than the experience you're in. Now, spirituality can be huge for this, because if you're in a little challenge, like you're having an issue with a relationship or a family member or at work, it's easy to feel like, okay, I can manage this, and, I can find a solution for this, and therefore I have hope, right? It's different when you're faced with a unexpected health challenge, or you're grieving from the death of a person or the death of a relationship, or if there's something beyond what you expected that happens to you. This is where hope can be very challenging, because just that unexpected, unchosen nature of it, and then coupled with the magnitude of emotion that can come out of the situation, is really shaping and impacting, and almost more distracting emotionally, right? There's more pain, and so therefore there's less ability to choose hope consciously, in essence. So in that type of situation, this is where this conversation of God can be so psychologically supportive, is because even if I don't see an answer right now, I trust God will turn this into something amazing. I trust that in this situation, God is going to reveal himself to the point where there is no other option but for me to glorify God through this, right? So that experience would entail like, wow, this is a horrible situation and I see no way out, but boom, God turns it around. There's some incredible opportunity, some incredible shift from that pain, from that challenge, some amazing growth or rejuvenation. That's not of my own doing. That was all God, right? And that's how God works. There's these just insane, like, explosions of revitalization, in a sense. So that's where hope and spirituality can really play a super impacting role in our psychology, in such a healthy way, ultimately, as it restores that hope. Now, why does that matter so much? Why does hope matter so much? Well, ultimately, all of the research that's being done around resilience is saying that, number one, resilience can act as a buffer and mediator of pain and difficulty and adverse effects that comes from challenges or trauma. Meaning that you'll have more capability to withstand or adapt through challenges the higher level of resilience that you have. It acts as a buffer against stress, depression, anxiety, all these things, right? Now, if challenges and trauma and pain and difficulty are just a part of life, then resilience is the necessary key to being able to use those challenges in a way that builds us up rather than tears us down. That's the essence of resilience. Now, what is resilience? Through psychology journals, they're starting to define it, and there's really a few key components, mainly self-efficacy, so one's ability to the feeling of one's ability to problem solve. So not the ability to problem solve. It's how you feel about your ability to problem solve and find solutions. There's an important distinction there. Another thing is optimism. And another contributor that's highly important is positive affect. So these three things are key for resilience. And hope kind of embodies a lot of these three things, right? When we have hope, we can feel, okay, I can solve this even if it's beyond me right now. That's a high level of self-efficacy. It also embodies optimism, right? And it creates a doorway towards positive affect. I can feel more positive if I know at the end of this there's going to be some sort of highlight or light at the end of the tunnel, so to say. So this is why hope is so important, and that is where spirituality can really tie into this. Now, I want to dive into the discussion of choice just briefly. This won't take very long. But since we don't have choice outside of our behavior, our thoughts, and what we choose to do within our own life and direct locus of control, when things happen to us that are very challenging, unfortunately, we can't just put our hand into the world and rearrange all these variables outside of us to make it better. We have to rearrange variables within us to make it better. And if someone is in a state of trying to rearrange everything outside of them to make their situation better, they're going to feel a lot of lack of hope, because it's not effective and it's ultimately a delusion. It's not reality. So they will have to grapple with that before they can even get to a space of truly finding a solution. However, choice that we have is really focused on our thought and behavior. Emotions we can't control. Emotions really voice a lot about what's going on in our internal, atmosphere and being, but emotions aren't even truth a lot of the time. Sometimes they can be warnings. Sometimes they can convey what our thoughts are contributing to, which doesn't make it truth. It means that we have a thinking process that is feeding a certain emotion. So we can look at that thought process. And then what's interesting, though, is these emotions, these thoughts, they all play into behaviors. And so you'll see a lot of psychology therapies, really successful, highly effective psychology theories are based around behavior management and thought management. So cognitive behavioral therapy, and there's a vast array of other behavioral therapies that are just showing to be very, very effective for a slew of challenges that people face in life. Okay, so let's do an exercise together. This is called the WDEP system. It's based in something called reality therapy, which is a modality implemented based off of something called choice theory. Ultimately, everything you experience in life is because of your choices. Hang with me. Since the only thing that we can control is our choices, sorry, I have hair in my face. Since the only thing we can control is our choices, our experience is fully dependent on the choices we make, behavior-wise and thought-wise. But we can use our behaviors as a doorway to manage our thought process. In reality therapy and choice theory, the essence of it is that we require a sense of love and belonging in life. And if that need is not met, we will take action subconsciously to try and meet that need in the most effective way possible. Now, keep in mind, this is subconsciously happening. And so although we may see it being effective to act out in a certain way, sometimes it's not. Sometimes we're not effectively meeting that need. Love and belonging is need number one, but there are 5 others that could also be driving certain behaviors in your life. Now, these are worth writing down. Love and belonging is number 1. Huge, huge deal. Purpose and meaning is a significant need that has to be met. Power or inner control is another. Fun and entertainment is also one. Freedom or independence is another. So when you think about your life and you think about, I want you to think about a behavior that you're not stoked about, that you maybe want to change or explore, and think about even, like cognitions, and how are those thoughts that you're thinking in certain situations playing out into your behaviors. Think about that kind of stuff. Now ask yourself, is this connected to one of my needs not being met? Which need is this behavior connected to? So we have love and belonging, purpose and meaning, inner control, fun and entertainment, freedom, independence. Which need is not being met at this point in time with that behavior? Now, once you recognize the need, once you recognize what you're wanting, let's say someone's wanting freedom. They want independence. They are just seeking that feeling of lack of restraint, right? If you have that feeling, okay, let's see what behavior is connected to it that's not effective. What's a new behavior that I could implement to actually engage that need? An example could be, if you're not feeling a certain type of independence or ability to make your own choices, I'm going to decide to do something for myself that strengthens my sense of independence, which sometimes can be scary. Maybe it's getting into a new discussion group. Maybe it's learning something new. Maybe it's taking a class. Maybe it's exploring something that you haven't had confidence to explore, right? There's going to be a little bit of a challenge ultimately. And then you're going to embrace it. You're going to take new action. A new behavior is going to be outputted, and you're going to figure out how to meet that need. So we've identified the need. Now we're going to look at do. What am I doing? That's the behavior we kind of just addressed. And then we're going to evaluate. Looking at what you're doing currently is important. Evaluate the effects of it. What is it causing? Then move into a plan. What is something I can do new? WDEP. You can do this with all kinds of things. I hope this empowers your choice. Try to fixate choosing hope, choosing something to keep your sight outside of and beyond the challenge that you're currently in. And that will propel you forward. So I hope you enjoyed this chat about hope and choice and that it gave you some helpful tools to implement.